Coming up on this hour of Chris 6 Sunrise, the president has called the U.S. airstrikes on Iran's major nuclear sites a success. But was it? Scripps News Group Joe St. George will join us with the latest.
And here at home, the Hillard Law Firm has been named the finalist for the naming rights of the American Bank Center. But senior neighborhood news reporter Suzanne Stevens will show us why some members of City Council have questions.
6 Investigates has been digging into tax-exempt deals made by the Corpus Christi Housing Authority for the past 2 months. I'm Erin Hawley here at City Hall, bringing you the city's decision about those deals.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Chris 6 Sunrise. Thank you so much for starting your day with the Hoffmans. I'm Michelle Hoffman.
And I'm Brian Hoffman. Yeah, it's a great little wacky Wednesday. You know what we haven't done in forever, and I almost feel bad doing it because Steph isn't here. She's on the evening show now. But it is our Wednesday mantra. Julia Quady, do you remember our Wednesday mantra?
I believe... No, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead.
It's if you guys are having a bad week, hey, guess what? It is halfway over. But if you're having a good week,
it's not over yet.
That is right.
Yeah, that's a good mantra to have. And we have more chances for rain chances coming in the forecast too to go along with that. But right now, before we head and get into that, let's first look at our traffic flow map here, where we can see things are moving pretty well heading onto the Harbor Bridge, going to and from Portland. Looking at no traffic issues right now, heading on either way, vice versa there from the Portland area. Moving now towards downtown, mostly clear for your drive on Ocean Drive and on SPID. Portions, though, you can see there's going to be a bit of a mixture, some heavier traffic flow on SPID, so just make sure you're aware of that. Moving now towards down Saratoga, things are still moving well this morning with no traffic issues there. Moving now towards Flower Bluff, we can see things are looking good for your drive heading throughout most of those roadways too. Waldron Road, Flower Bluff Drive, all clear. Just a little bit of a medium speed that you're going to see once you get a little bit closer towards that gate at NAS Corpus Christi. But other than that, again, most roadways in Flower Bluff looking at pretty easy driving conditions. Now moving lastly towards the JFK Causeway, you can again look at pretty easy driving conditions right now on this Wednesday morning with no issues heading to and from the island. Now rain chances are starting to uptick a bit as we go throughout the rest of our day. Right now just a couple spotty showers this morning that will escalate to isolated scattered showers by this afternoon. Have the details on that, my full forecast coming up.
Julia, thank you for that. So we have plenty of neighborhood news to get to this morning, but first we head to Washington, where President Trump has called the U.S. airstrikes on Iran's major nuclear sites a complete success. But was it?
Now, Scripps News Group Joe St. George joins us live now. Joe, multiple reports suggest that the airstrikes were not as effective as the president claimed. So what is the latest on the assessment of the airstrikes, and does it look like the ceasefire agreement is holding up?
Well, the president's furious this morning. Yesterday, he was furious at Israel and Iran. He was worried the ceasefire was going to fall apart. It hasn't. The ceasefire is still holding. Today, the president is furious at a familiar foe, the press, specifically CNN. Other news organizations have since confirmed with the Associated Press, New York Times, others, that of an intelligence assessment at the Pentagon suggesting that Iran may have only been set back a few months with their nuclear ambitions and not sent into obliteration, a phrase often used by President Trump. President Trump has pushed back on that heavily. In fact, he's making a controversial comparison to Hiroshima and Nagasaki, saying that essentially what he did in Iran and how that how those bombs ended World War II. In this case, he believes this ended this Israel-Iran conflict. We shall see. Here on Capitol Hill, where I'm at this morning, Democrats especially remain furious that they haven't received a classified briefing yet from the White House. They believe they're entitled to, given their constitutional authority to declare wars. It was postponed at last minute on Tuesday. We here at the Scripps News Group have confirmed that it's rescheduled for Thursday and for Friday. This question, though, of what is Iran's capability? How much were they set back? It's a relevant one because if Iran was only set back a few months, and really that's just a few weeks, then it's possible that they could be restarting their ambitions soon. And Israel has already warned in a speech overnight. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said to Iran, don't do it again. And if you do, there would be consequences. So we could be right back to where we where we were just a few days ago, if depending on the damage that actually was done. We'll continue to follow through. Again, the White House is pushing back on this reporting, but the reporting is out there. Again, it's been confirmed by numerous news organizations, so it can't be ignored. And right now, it's a big part of this debate. And real quickly, as far as the ceasefire goes, Israel and Iran are both declaring victory with it, and that's significant. I think if both sides are declaring victory, there's less of a chance that one side is going to break it. Obviously, the Middle East still dominating the discussion. We expect to hear more from President Trump before he departs Europe a little bit later today.
Alrighty, Joe. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
No, we appreciate the insight as always, sir. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Hey there, good morning, happy Wednesday. So waking up, things are going to be off to a bit of a soggy note throughout some portions of the coastal bend, with a couple stray showers are now passing on through some northern neighborhoods. Now things are starting to dry up now at this hour, but some folks, even if you're not waking up to showers actually happening in your neighborhood, at the very least you may be seeing a bit of some wet pavement on your roadways heading out the door right now. Look at Doppler radar, we can see those showers that started to push on through earlier this morning, especially during the 5 o'clock hour, mostly going nearby Rockport, Aransas County, Refugio, and Beat counties, with those spray showers that kind of push their way on through. Now, shower activity is expected to ramp up later on this afternoon in more of an isolated to even more of a scattered fashion throughout some neighborhoods later on today. But again, right now, things are probably going to dry up a bit before we get there. Right now, taking a look at our conditions across the coastal bend neighborhood-wise, we can see temperatures in Corpus Christi sitting at 74 degrees, 74 as well over in Beeville, 82 in Port Aransas, 78 in Rockport and over in Alice. Similar to yesterday and the day before that, starting off with calm light winds coming from the southeast that will begin to increase, getting a little bit faster and more breezy as we head towards this afternoon. Temperature-wise, over the next few hours, we'll start to get a little bit closer towards those upper 80s by midday, heading towards our afternoon high temperature in the lower 90s by noon. And we'll also see our rain chances begin to uptick again during those afternoon hours. That's going to be kind of the prime time we'll expect some of those isolated to scattered showers begin to pop on into the coastal bend because of afternoon heat coming in with those higher temperatures and with the help of the sea breeze with those faster wind speeds later on this afternoon too. That's what's going to increase our rain chances later on into the next few hours. Feel like temperatures will continue to range towards those upper 90s to lower 100s. Again, pretty much the same copy and paste forecast on that note for us too here in the coastal bend. But rain chances over the next 24 hours, again, we'll be looking at a better chances, especially for inland and northern neighborhoods, to see those isolated to scattered showers over our afternoon between 1 and 3 o'clock. And then we'll also see our rain chances begin to dissipate and decrease later on tonight before increasing during our overnight hours into your Thursday. Now, moisture is going to continue to build. That's why we're going to see those better rain chances, especially for more inland and northern neighborhoods, including Refugio and B counties. And then rain chances will begin to dwindle a bit ahead for us on Friday with a drier pocket that's going to arrive here into the South Texas before rain chances come back to the forecast and rebound quickly with moisture coming in as we look ahead towards your weekend into the early part of next week.
A new space bringing unity and comfort. I'm Ana Conejo near downtown Corpus Christi, showing you a new future for residents of the Rustic House Men's Shelter.
And coming up on Sunrise, some city council members have questions about OVG's choice for the naming rights of the American Bank Center. Senior Neighbor News reporter Suzanne Stevens has the latest after the break. Welcome back, folks. You are taking in a gorgeous look from our studio cam. Looking at the bay, Corpus Christi looks beautiful this morning. Hey, 6:12 is your time on this Wednesday morning. We're going to be checking in with our meteorologist Julia Quady in just a minute. But first, on to some international news.
Yeah, happening today, a two-day NATO summit in Hague will officially wrap up. This year's meeting comes against the backdrop of conflicts in the Middle East and the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia. Defense spending is also a key topic this year. President Trump has long pushed for NATO nations to spend more on their militaries, and member countries have pledges to contribute 5% of their global domestic product on defense by 2035. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is set to present the Fed's monetary policy report to the Senate Banking Committee today. The Fed voted unanimously last week to keep interest rates unchanged despite repeated calls from President Trump to cut them. Yesterday, Powell told members of the House Financial Services Committee that the Fed will continue its wait-and-see approach before lowering interest rates.
Well, City Council gave a final approval to an ordinance that will make some streets in the London area narrower, but with a last-minute modification. The original proposal would have changed 4 roads in the area of County Road 22 and County Road 43 from 4 lanes down to 2 lanes. London ISD raised some concerns over how the change could have a negative impact on their plans to create more campuses in that district. So at the request of Public Works and Street Department, 1 street was changed back to 4 lanes. Well, City Council is getting more details about a proposed tax increment reinvestment zone, or TIRZ, for the London area. Creation of the TIRZ would fund development of about 4,600 acres and would create new taxable value between $2 to $3 billion. The Office of Economic Development proposes holding a public hearing and a first reading of the TIRZ ordinance on July 15th. A final vote would be taken on July 22nd.
The Corpus Christi Housing Authority has been in the spotlight for deals that could remove $350 million from local tax rolls annually. I'm Erin Holly, your neighborhood news reporter in Corpus Christi, where the City Council passed a motion stating these deals are apparently illegal. On Tuesday, the Corpus Christi City Council voted unanimously to pass a resolution declaring controversial tax-exempt workforce housing deals on high-end apartment complexes as apparently illegal. This resolution calls on the Corpus Christi Housing Authority to fix what the city considers violations of the Texas Open Meetings Act and other state laws in approving the purchase of 13 high-end apartment complexes between July 2024 and March 2025.
A day after Oak View Group handed naming rights for the American Bank Center to Hillard Law, council members say they still don't have the full story. The decision coming down just hours before council was scheduled to discuss the issue has left many wondering why the highest bid, $20 million from Thomas J. Henry, was passed over. Oak View Group told the council the choice wasn't about the money. They claim some sponsors threatened to walk if Henry's name was on the building, but they stopped short of saying who those sponsors were.
I thought we were actually going to get some real answers today. I thought that we were going to hear transparency from OVG. Apparently, that's not going to happen.
Oak View Group is expected to return in July to share its financials, aiming to prove it can keep the American Bank Center in the black without Thomas J. Henry's money.
Hey there, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Heading out the door, you might be in for seeing a couple spotty showers throughout some neighborhoods here in the Coastal Bend, or if you're not going to see any shower activity, you'll definitely see some maybe wet roadways on your way heading out the door. Right now, taking a look at Doppler radar, we're getting a bit of a loop of seeing south. Some of those stray showers made their way throughout portions of Aransas, Refugio, and B counties, maybe a little bit of northern San Patricio County as well earlier this past few hours. But now things are looking to be pretty dry across the Coastal Bend for now, before we are expecting more rainfall activity coming in by midday and certainly by this afternoon, really ramping up with more isolated to scattered showers that will make their way into the area. Right now, taking a look at Future Tracker, we can see by 10 o'clock this morning, a couple spotty showers will be expected to come through portions of Refugio and San Patricio County nearby Sinton, and then heading towards 3 o'clock this afternoon, that's we'll see a better chance of seeing more isolated to scattered showers coming into the forecast by that point. You can even note there's some small pockets of more moderate to maybe heavy rainfall that can be anticipated with that shower activity later on this afternoon too. But heading to this evening, things will be wrapping up pretty much in the same fashion that they did yesterday, with more drier conditions returning back to the forecast before a better chance of seeing maybe a couple more stray showers overnight into the early morning hours on your Thursday. So again, your planner here, we'll see those temperatures increasing towards those lower 80s by 9 o'clock this morning, then approaching those upper 80s to low 90s by lunchtime. And again, that shower activity beginning to ramp up for us for more inland and northern portions of Coastal Bend around 1 o'clock and then extending to around 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon, and then we'll also see it towards that same range of hours and time. We'll see those temperatures increasing towards those lower 90s. Feel like temperatures will still be getting to the upper 90s to lower 100s, so still same type of heat and mugginess that we're still experiencing here in the Coastal Bend for the past few days will extend towards today and throughout the rest of our work week. Looking at our moisture tracker, we can see those darker plumes of moisture happening throughout northern portions of Coastal Bend later on this afternoon, and that's why our rain chances are a little bit more more associated towards northern portions of the coastal bend later on this afternoon today before things will start to dry up a bit heading towards your Friday, giving us a small dry pocket of air coming into our atmosphere. So rain chances will dwindle briefly on Friday before extending and coming back to the forecast and then coming into the early part of next week.
I'm Tony Jaramillo, your neighborhood news reporter in Flower Bluff. Senate Bill 10 is requiring all Texas public classrooms to have the 10 Commandments on display. But with legal challenges already looming in other states, some say it may not be that simple.
Welcome back, folks. Well, with all the uncertainties in our day-to-day life, especially with the tensions in the Middle East and the wars going on in Ukraine and Russia, a lot of the prices are fluctuating all over the map. But we are keeping a close eye on those that you can't really go without. We're talking about food prices. We'll start off with the price of eggs, and all of these prices, I remind you, are as of this morning, Wednesday morning, on each of the retailers' websites. So taking a look, Target comes in third place, $2.79 for a carton of eggs. H-E-B comes in second place at $2.78, and then first place goes to Walmart, $2.72. What about a loaf of bread, right? Well, we're taking a look at Target as third place at $1.49. No price changes on any of these, by the way, since last week. H-E-B second place, $1.30. First place goes to Walmart, $1.27. Now, on to a gallon of milk. H-E-B third place, Target second place. First place, again, goes to Walmart at $2.62. How about that protein, though? We're bringing in a pound of ground beef. Target still sitting at $5.99, H-E-B $4.83. And Walmart, winner, a ground beef dinner, sitting at $3.97. So if you're shopping on a budget, Walmart might be the best choice this week.
All right, now taking a live look outside, looking at our Skycam, our first community bank Skycam atop the USS Lexington. Can see that sunshine starting to come on in with the hint of that sunrise beginning now for us, officially sunrise in the next few minutes. Looking at that traffic flow, things are moving pretty well heading on to the Portland area or vice versa on the Harbor Bridge. Let's go ahead and take a look at those traffic flow maps though to get a look at other roadways across the area. Right now, see again, looking good on Portland and heading onto the Harbor Bridge. Right now, moving now towards downtown, all clear on Ocean Drive and on SPID for the most part, and on Saratoga, again, looking at pretty easy driving conditions. Moving now towards towards Flower Bluff, looking at good driving conditions happening on Waldron Road and on Flower Bluff Drive. Just a bit of a median speed as you get a little bit closer towards the gate at NES Corpus Christi, as per usual during the morning hours. Then heading up to the JFK Causeway, going to and from the island. Again, looking at pretty easy driving conditions with no traffic issues in sight. That's it for Traport. With details of your forecast coming up.
3 abandoned house fires and 2 small grass fires within days. I'm Stephanie Molina in Robstown, learning about what happened here and how neighbors feel about the incidents.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Good morning, happy Wednesday. Welcome on back. Right now we're taking a live look outside of our CCAC Skycam over in Snoopy's Pier. Getting a gorgeous view of that sunrise now beginning over in the horizon. Got a mix of some cloud cover right now. Pretty much the same picture that we'll be looking at each and every day here throughout the remainder of our work week. Starting out with some partly cloudy skies, eventually mostly sunny by the afternoon with some afternoon showers expected today later on in the afternoon hours. I have more details on that in the next few minutes. Right now let's go ahead and take a quick look at a tropical update. We did have Tropical Storm Andrea that became named a tropical storm yesterday around the midday hours. It was our first named storm here in the Atlantic Basin for our 2025 hurricane season. Thankfully, where it formed, it didn't cause any issues on any land masses across the area, just straight smack dab in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. But because of where it unusually formed, it kind of set itself up for failure to quickly dissipate and now become a post-tropical storm due to being in cooler waters over into the more northern portion of the Atlantic Ocean as well due to wind shear, just now wicking away its chances of having the opportunity to even further strengthen or even last longer at this point. Now just becoming just a disorganized area of some thunderstorms at this moment. Now for next named storm that we'll have in the list here, we'll have Barry for our B lettered name there for the next storm that could form later on this hurricane season. But for now, things are going to remain to be quiet, at least for now, over the next 7 days. Looking at Doppler radar here at home, seeing a couple stray showers that passed through portions of Coastal Bend over the last few hours this morning. Now things are looking to be a bit dry, but again, shower activity is expected to ramp up for us here at home as we head towards the afternoon around 1 and 3 o'clock. I'll show you a bit of some future tracker radar there in the next few minutes. Right now, taking a look at our out the door forecast, heading outside around 8 o'clock this morning, looking at temperatures still kind of hanging on tight towards those upper 70s, approaching those lower to upper 80s around lunchtime, and eventually towards those 90s. Lower 90s specifically around 2 and 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll start to see our afternoon high temperature, though, get reached around 1 or 4 o'clock this afternoon, between that range of a high temperature of 93 degrees. Again, still looking at mostly sunny conditions with those isolated showers that will be expected to pop on in around midday and then extend towards this afternoon. Right now, looking at future tracker, as promised, we can see those showers that will get to be spotty once again by 10 o'clock this morning. A little bit better to see some more widely scattered showers that are going to come on in, especially for more inland portions and northern areas and neighborhoods here in the Coastal Bend. You can also take note of those little splotches of yellow on the map here, noting more moderate shower activity that could be happening throughout portions of the area as those showers start to push on through. But heading towards this evening, things will start to calm on down and decrease in terms of our rain chances as we look ahead towards tonight before picking up yet again into the overnight hours into tomorrow and your Thursday. Looking at moisture tracker here, you can see those darker plumes of green coming in with the help of that sea breeze and afternoon heat. That's what's going to give us our rain chances that will increase for us by this afternoon. But then we'll be looking at a bit of a dry pocket that's going to come in as we look ahead towards your Friday, kind of limiting our rain chances a bit before they quickly rebound with more moisture coming back quickly into the South Texas area. So we'll see our rain chances quickly come back into the conversation ahead for us on your Saturday and Sunday, and then even extend to the early part of next week. So taking a look at your 7-day forecast, better rain chances remain in the forecast today and tomorrow before they kind of drop off a bit on your Friday before they return very quickly back into the forecast into next week.
One state budget item that could have impacted millions of children. I'm Michaela Chavez downtown. I'll tell you why Governor Greg Abbott vetoed a measure that would have allowed the state to enter a summer lunch program for low-income kids.
And coming up on Chris 6 Sunrise, I'll take you beyond the barricades at Sherrill Veterans Memorial Park to uncover what's going on and when it might reopen.
Now, say hello to your neighbors. This is your Chris 6 News Sunrise Shoutouts.
I want to say a good morning from the Chris 6 Sunrise team. We're here in the heart of Vanderbilt, Rogers Barbershop, man. Y'all can look us up, 10501 Leopard Street, man. Everybody have a good day today.
Hey, and we hope you also have a great day. That was Robert from Rogers Barbershop in Annaville. Now, folks, if you want to send us your own shout-out video, all you have to do is scan the QR code right there on your screen or go to our website, christv.com.
This is Veterans in Focus, sponsored by the Heil Law Firm, battling for justice, winning for the community.
A large portion of Sherrill Veterans Memorial Park has been fenced off, and that has a lot of neighbors asking me the same question. When will it reopen? Well, I spoke with the city's Parks and Rec director for some answers.
There's so many programs that go on down there, from Memorial Day, Veterans Day, things like that, that we want them to be proud.
For the past few months, events have been relocated from Sherrill Veterans Memorial Park while its military monument construction project is underway. One of the main features of Phase 1, the installation of the U.S. Army Bell Huey helicopter. It's expected to serve as the centerpiece in the first monument visitors will see when entering the park.
Previously, we did have a helicopter on a pedestal on Shoreline, and people my age remember driving down Shoreline and seeing that old helicopter, so we're going to be able to do that again.
When we checked in on the project last December, officials expected Phase 1 to be completed by June of this year. But with just days left in June, we looked into it, and our bird's eye view shows there's still a lot of work left to do.
It's a long process, but we're going to make sure we do it right.
Parks and Recreation Director Robert Dodd now tells me the helicopter could be in place by the end of summer.
Probably in the August time frame. You know, they've been working working very, very hard.
Already installed is a 15-foot steel pedestal that will support the helicopter. The monument will also include concrete walls, park signage, and built-in LED lighting. DOT also says they have a plan to preserve and protect it.
We'll increase our patrols with our park enforcement, and obviously, specifically, Parks and Recreation will continue to do the ground area around. The helicopters itself will, any maintenance that needs to be done over the years will probably be contracted out.
Because so many people in our community have direct connections to the military.
I have a grandfather, I have a nephew, I have a son that's in the military.
The enhancements aim to honor those who served.
Veterans mean so much to our community. They mean so much to our nation. So, we want to make sure that we honor them and we give them the credit that they deserve.
The helicopter display is just one phase of the much larger vision for the park. Now, you might recall I told you about bringing in the 6-ton sail of the USS City of Corpus Christi here. No date has been set for that yet, but of course we will keep you updated as soon as we learn more.
Hey, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Heading out the doors, what you can expect for your forecast on your today's planner. We'll see our temperatures slowly start to increase, getting towards those lower and eventually upper 80s by midday, similar to yesterday and so far every day so far this past week. We're still seeing those lighter wind speeds to start off our morning before more breezier conditions come in by the afternoon. We'll also see our isolated shower opportunities begin to increase ahead for us this afternoon too, with a little bit more help of that sea breeze with those southeasterly winds, and of course with that afternoon heating, we'll start to see our rain chances begin to increase with more isolated to scattered showers anticipated across more northern and inland portions of coastal Bend. And then our rain chances will begin to dwindle by our evening, and we'll start to see more rain chances ahead by the time we get towards our overnight to early morning hours on our Thursday. So looking at your 7-day forecast, better rain chances are expected today and tomorrow. Drier air will start to approach our area ahead for us on Friday. So that's kind of going to a little bit dwindle our rain chances ahead, and then we'll start to see an increase in moisture quickly rebound back into South Texas area. So that's going to give us more isolated rain chances and rain opportunities ahead for us, not only for the weekend, but it's also going to extend for the early part of next week. But also check out those temperatures. We're still slightly above average, so those temperatures still reaching towards those lower 90s.
From Chris 6, this is 20 minutes of non-stop news.
Hey, welcome back, folks, and thank you so much for tuning in to our 20 minutes of nonstop news with the Hoffmans. I'm Brian Hoffman.
And I'm Michelle Hoffman. We'll check in with Julia Quady in just a bit, but first, right now you can expect delays if you're heading out to Flower Bluff, and that's because emergency crews are working a 2-vehicle accident just before the Memorial Causeway. Now, it happened around 5:30 this morning on SPID near Paul Jones Avenue. According to Nueces County ESD2, the crash involved a small car and a pickup. At least 2 people were taken to the hospital in unknown condition. SPID is closed down at the Ennis-Jocelyn on-ramp. The cause of the crash remains under investigation.
The Corpus Christi Housing Authority has been in the spotlight for deals that could remove $350 million from local tax rolls annually. I'm Erin Holly, your neighborhood news reporter in Corpus Christi, where the City Council passed a motion stating these deals are apparently illegal. On Tuesday, the Corpus Christi City Council voted unanimously to pass a resolution declaring controversial tax-exempt workforce housing deals on high-end apartment complexes as apparently illegal. This resolution calls on the Corpus Christi Housing Authority to fix what the city considers violations of the Texas Open Meetings Act and other state laws in approving the purchase of 13 high-end apartment complexes between July 2024 and March 2025.
A day after Oak View Group handed naming rights for the American Bank Center to Hillard Law, council members say they still don't have the full story. The decision coming down just hours before council was scheduled to discuss the issue has left many wondering why the highest bid, $20 million from Thomas J. Henry, was passed over. Oak View Group told the council the choice wasn't about the money. They claim some sponsors threatened to walk if Henry's name was on the building, but they stopped short of saying who those sponsors were.
I thought we were actually going to get some real answers today. I thought that we were going to hear transparency from OVG. Apparently, that's not going to happen.
Oak View Group is expected to return in July to share its financials, aiming to prove it can keep the American Bank Center in the black without Thomas J. Henry's money.
Ricardo Zavala saw Robson firefighters working on this abandoned home on Ruiz Street last Thursday. The back-to-back fires caused quite a scare for neighbors in the area. Robson fire officials say there were 3 vacant homes that caught fire and 2 small grass fires. They suspect these fires may have been intentionally set. Robson police are handling their own investigation. Over the weekend, they arrested 2 juveniles after the 3rd fire on Kansas Street. They were able to do this thanks to tips from neighbors. Police say the 2 are 12 to 13 years old.
Robson police tell me these 5 underscore the importance of staying alert. Police say you should report all suspicious activity. In Robstown, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Stephanie Molina, Chris 6 News.
I'm Tony Jaramillo, your neighborhood news reporter in Flower Bluff. A new state law will require the 10 Commandments to be posted in every Texas classroom. I'll tell you when it takes effect and who's already raising legal concerns. Mark Jones, a political science professor at Rice University, tells Chris 6 News he expects a legal battle in Texas. He says the fight in courts here could mirror what's happening in courts in Louisiana and prompt action from groups like the American Civil Liberties Union. Supporters, Jones says, argue the 10 Commandments have more than just religious meaning, while opponents see constitutional issues. I reached out to a few school districts in the Coastal Bend to ask how they would do things in accordance with the law. Flower Bluff ISD leaders told me they plan to work with the Texas Education Agency and legal counsel to ensure compliance. Jones says even if Texas wins in court, the timeline is long. If no litigation is filed, schools have until September 1st to have the 10 Commandments posted in every classroom. In Flower Bluff, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tony Jaramillo, Chris 6 News.
If you're not from the Alice community, you probably don't know Alice has an international airport, and it's way more than just a place for planes. I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in Alice. The international airport is actually a big deal for the local economy. The Navy uses it for training flights, hunters fly in on private jets during hunting season, and it brings in cash through fuel sales and land leases. Locals like Zeke Luna have even flown out on private jets from there, and businesses in town like the Horseshoe Western store get a nice boost from visitors. Pretty cool how a small town airport can make such a big difference.
A new space bringing unity and comfort. I'm Ana Conejo near downtown Corpus Christi, showing you a new future for residents of the Rustic House Men's Shelter. After weeks of hard work, residents of Rustic House, the men's shelter at Corpus Christi Metro Ministries, now have a dedicated space where the men can relax and unwind. All this is thanks to Hilliard's law firm that put in weeks of work to renovate the space. The law firm painted tables, did gardening work, and more. Patty Clark, CEO of the Corpus Christi Ministries, is thankful for the overdue project and says this is making many residents feel seen.
Hey there, good morning, happy Wednesday. So heading out the door, things are going to be off to a bit of a soggy start for some neighborhoods here in the Coastal Bend. But for now, things are starting to ramp up in terms of our shower activity at the moment, with more showers anticipated by this afternoon. Looking at Doppler radar, we can see the loop of those showers that passed on through earlier this morning. So even if you aren't seeing a couple showers pass on through your neighborhood right now, you maybe are experiencing a couple wet pavement or wet roadways right now on your drive heading out the door. Right now, again, things are going to be dry on that note with more showers anticipated over the next few hours. We can take that look right now, showing future tracker here with showers that are expected to start to pop on in again by around 10 o'clock this morning, popping through a little bit throughout portions of Aransas, Refugio, and San Patricio counties. But the main bulk of that more isolated to scattered shower activity is expected around 1 and 3 o'clock this afternoon. You can see them start to push their way on in again throughout the same counties, Aransas, Refugio, and B, and portions of San Patricio County by this afternoon, with a couple splotches of yellow, noting that we could be witnessing a little bit of some more moderate to heavy periods of rain, maybe a couple rumbles of thunder associated with that as well throughout the course of our afternoon. But heading towards our evening hours, we'll be looking at more dry conditions returning back to the forecast before overnight stray showers start to bubble their way back into your Thursday. Looking at our planner for today, again, temperatures starting to increase towards those upper 80s by midday. Also a gradual increase with those wind speeds that will start to get more breezy, clocking a little bit closer towards 15 miles an hour during our afternoon. Again, our rain event will start to kick back up into high gear again with those isolated to scattered showers coming in by this afternoon. We'll still see heat a part of our conversation though here, with our air temperatures still reaching towards those lower 90s. Feel like temperatures getting towards those upper 90s and triple digits rather, and to the 100s there. So again, still going to be a hot day here in the coastal bend, even with the chance of seeing some more active shower activity today compared to yesterday. And part of the reason for that, we'll start to see more heavier swells of moisture starting to come on in by this afternoon, along with the help of the sea breeze and that afternoon daytime heating. Those are the main ingredients that are going to help us out with our rain chances ahead for us today. They'll still look pretty decent ahead for tomorrow, too, on your Thursday, before some dry air begins to arrive on Friday, but then moisture will rebound, giving us rain chances into the weekend.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
And folks, these are 6 things you need to know before heading out the door.
President Trump is ramping up pressure on Republican holdouts to pass his sweeping agenda within days. Trump had previously said he wanted the bill on his desk by July 4th. The Senate is planning a critical vote to begin debate as soon as tomorrow. Now, at least 3 House Republicans have said they will oppose the Senate version without deeper spending cuts. Senate Republicans are largely united on the main tenets of the bill. However, the biggest issue is how to pay for many of the provisions, including cuts to Medicaid.
Early reports suggest that the U.S. airstrikes on Iran's major nuclear sites were not as effective as President Trump claims. According to sources, the strikes only set Iran's nuclear program back by 3 to 6 months. White House press secretary saying that the reporting on the intelligence assessment is inaccurate, while also saying that it was top secret. In a statement Tuesday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said that the U.S. attacks on Iran, quote, obliterated Iran's ability to create nuclear weapons, end quote.
City Council made a final approval to an ordinance that will make some streets in the London area narrower, but with a last-minute modification. The original proposal would have changed 4 roads in the area of County Road 22 and County Road 43 from 4 lanes down to 2 lanes. London ISD raised some concerns over how the change could have a negative impact on their plans to create more campuses in that district. So at the request of the Public Works and street departments, 1 street was changed back to 4 lanes.
City Council is getting more details about a proposed tax increasement reinvestment zone, or TIRZ, for the London area. Creation of the TIRZ would fund development for about 4,600 acres and would create new taxable value of between $2 to $3 billion. The Office of Economic Development proposes holding a public hearing and first reading of the TIRZ ordinance on July 15th. A final vote could be taken on July 22nd.
Del Mar College is hosting a job fair today for neighbors interested in careers in higher education. It will be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Heritage Campus Harvin Center's Ritama Room, and job seekers will have a chance to meet directly with recruiters and hiring managers. There will also be on-site assistance with applications for those ready to apply.
Well, the Public Health Mobile Clinic will be in the Driscoll area today. It'll be at the City Hall from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Free health screenings, childhood immunizations, flu vaccines, and for both adults and children for those who qualify. For more information, you can call 361-826-7200. Driscoll City Hall is located at 133 West Dragon Street.
Hey there, good morning. Right now, taking a live look outside now from our Skycam over top SPID. See some pretty decent driving happening on those roadways right now with no heavy traffic flow, but portions of the SPID we can't say the same. And more details on the accident that we are reporting now here on Chris 6 News in just a few more moments. Right now, it's going to take a look at other roadways before we go ahead and get into that. Hank, we're pulling over towards the Harbor Bridge. Again, things are moving pretty well. Moving now towards downtown, all clear on your roadway on both directions on Ocean Drive as well as on SPID for the most part. Then heading on towards Saratoga, things are still looking pretty decent, but there was a 2-car accident that happened nearby Paul Jones Avenue, so you just want to make sure you're aware of that. There will be some serious heavy delays and slowdowns if you have to head on to that direction. Just make sure you plan accordingly. More details on your forecast coming up in the next few minutes.
Take a look at this gauge. It's at about 50%, right? A local nonprofit says this is about the percentage of Nueces County families who struggle to make ends meet. I'm Michaela Chavez, your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter downtown. A program that supporters say would help feed millions of low-income Texas kids, including thousands here at home, was vetoed by Governor Greg Abbott. When it comes to things like paying bills or putting food on the table, Brianna Davis says for some, doing so is a challenge.
Right now, our families in the coastal band, they're struggling.
She's the founder of Esperanza de Tejas, a nonprofit focused on helping underserved communities get access to things like food, education, and jobs.
Kids deserve food. There's no ifs, ands, doubts about it.
She says she works with neighbors throughout Nueces County after seeing some of their struggles firsthand.
We have seen an increase, almost triple of our services, and that has been since January.
Davis tells me she's met families who cannot afford rent or buy food, and the truth is, those families aren't the only ones. 1 in 4 children in Texas face a food insecurity. That's according to Celia Cole, CEO of Feeding Texas, a statewide network of food banks.
They're wondering where their next meal is going to come from, where they're wondering, am I a burden to mom or dad?
She wants you to think about it like this. A lot of kids from low-income families get their breakfast and lunch at school.
It's a safe space for kids to go to get these meals.
And with school being out, that shouldn't mean stomachs go empty.
Especially our kids who are in those neighborhoods, in those communities that are predominantly impoverished. Those summer programs are a lifeline for them.
This is so good. Governor Greg Abbott vetoed a $60 million program aimed to feed children from low-income families during the summer. He cited an uncertain future of federal funding for those kinds of programs. Unidos US, a Latino advocacy nonprofit, says the program would have helped feed more than 1 million children in the state of Texas, including 650,000 in the Latino community. Cuts aren't expected until 2027, but Davis says now is the time to speak up with lawmakers.
Call their offices, tell them how this might be affecting you, your people in your communities, someone you might know. It's the time for all of us to come together and not think of us as individuals, but think of us as a community.
Now, Governor Abbott says once it becomes clear how much the program would cost the state over time, lawmakers can decide whether or not to fund it. For now, it's vetoed, and there's no word yet on whether or not the summer EBT program is at risk on a federal level. Downtown, I'm your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter, Michaela Chavez, Chris 6 News.
Michaela, thank you so much. So Chick-fil-A is at the top again in customer satisfaction, that is. For the 11th year in a row, the Georgia-based chain ranked first among quick service restaurants. The American Customer Satisfaction Index is based on a survey of more than 16,000 people. Chick-fil-A came out on top with a score of 83 out of 100. Panda Express and Starbucks tied for second with 80 points each. I don't know if I could be a witness to that, but...
Yeah, I have been to Chick-fil-A a few times, and what is that phrase that they always say at the end when you ask for something? It's my pleasure.
My pleasure, yeah.
And if they don't say it, if you say it first, don't you get like a free cookie or something like that?
I don't know if that's true. I've never tested that.
I've seen it on social media.
Is it real? Do you think it's real?
I don't know. You should try it
now,
next time.
Somebody needs to go today and do that.
Yeah. Well, one of our producers, Matthew, I think he has Chick-fil-A like 5 or 6 times a week.
He loves Chick-fil-A, yeah. He's a good candidate to maybe try that and test that theory and see if it actually works.
Well, hey, one thing that people might not need to be curious about, at least, is the rain chances, right?
Yeah, they look pretty decent, especially for this afternoon. As you guys mentioned earlier in our last hour, you guys saw some wet roadways because we did see some stray showers that passed on through overnight. Now our rain event's kind of ending for the morning period. It's going to ramp up again by the time we head towards this afternoon. But first, go ahead and let's take in this view from our Whataburger Field sky cam. We're getting that gorgeous sunrise now happening with those partly cloudy skies, allowing for more sunshine later on this afternoon with mostly sunny skies that we can anticipate later on. But again, like I noted, few hours ago, seeing a couple passing showers throughout northern portions of the coastal bend earlier this morning, mostly coming through areas like Aransas, Refugio, and B counties. But again, stray showers in nature, nothing really significant from those rainfall opportunities that we saw so far this morning. But what does this all mean for your dog walking forecast? I'll have details on that in the next few moments. First, let's go ahead and introduce our star for today. We have Millie looking to be ready for their dog walk today. Millie can expect a dry period right now throughout most of our morning before we see those showers that start to revamp and come come in back to our forecast by the time we head towards our afternoon. Right now, things will be dry, looking at those temperatures increasing towards those 80s throughout the morning, then starting to approach those 90s by lunchtime. We'll also see in the same fashion as we saw yesterday and the day before that on Monday, with those wind speeds starting out light during the morning and then beginning to pick up as we head towards the afternoon. Also taking a look at our quick temperatures across different neighborhoods here, moving towards Beeville, looking at those temperatures mostly sitting towards those 70s. And again, things are going to remain to be warm, seeing those air temperatures eventually reaching towards those 90s by this afternoon, and then feel like temperatures then ranging towards those upper 90s and lower 100s. So again, things are still going to be hot here in the coastal bend, slightly above average temperatures that are going to be anticipated. Now, taking a quick look at your 7-day forecast, we can see better rain chances are expected today with those isolated showers. They'll be coming in between the range of, or the time frame rather, of 1 o'clock to maybe 3 or 4 o'clock this afternoon, and then better rain chances ahead for us this weekend too.
Alrighty, Julia. Well, thank you so much, and thank you folks for joining us. We hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later tonight for more news from your neighborhood.
Have a great one.